Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is the Steel Curtain Network editor Dave Schofield coming at you. It's Tuesday night. It's just after 9 o'clock. The Steelers play a game this week. Where else would you rather be? And with me, as always, except when he's not, is my big brother Rich. Rich, how's it going on back-to-back nights doing shows?
Oh, yeah. So, actually, it's good. It's fine. We're at a great time of year. All I want to do is talk about the Steelers. So, Why not do an extra show this week? As I was on the hangover yesterday with Daniel J.
Yep. So, thanks for filling in for Shannon. I'm pretty sure Shannon's back for Wednesday. He was just missing the Monday show because I think he had. It wasn't like a Sunday to Saturday or a Monday to Sunday vacation. I think he was like a Thursday to Tuesday kind of situation. But I actually was able to catch that show. Usually I'm traveling during that time, but man, we had such horrendous storms that they canceled stuff where I didn't have to luckily drive for 45 minutes through two states. And well, not through two states, it's barely in one of them. Man, we had huge hail. You saw the pictures I sent the rest of the family, the size of our hail. I have never seen hail that size in person in my life.
They were calling for ours to get up to that size, but we did not. And actually that storm came through and it was weird. I got hail in the initial part of the storm, and through the heavy part of the storm was like dime sized, and it wasn't all that heavy. It was just some small hail mixed in. On the backside of the storm, after the worst of it had passed, then we got pelted with hail that was like nickel sized, and it was a good bit. I was like, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure.
Craziest, heaviest rain and wind mixture I'd ever been through.
Yeah, that was some crazy storms that it basically rolled through the entire mid-Atlantic yesterday. Different places were worse than others. With mine, I know it's Steelers. Yeah, we're talking about the weather. But when the hail started, because I have skylights, so I'm like, oh, I hear the ping, and I'm like, oh, hail's starting, and I'm starting to look. And because I had gutter guards put on this summer, all the hail didn't go in the gutters, it went over top, and I could see where it was piling up in various places. I was like, wow. I mean, it was between pea-sized and marble-sized. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Then at the end of it is when we started to get the clunks. I'm like, holy cow. And I'm just watching.
Yeah, you guys had
huge pieces come down. Yes, it was something. Luckily, didn't really have any kind of property damage here, but I know some other people were not as blessed as we were. But anyway, let's talk some Steelers.
And you know what? I'm going to connect what we just talked to Steelers. I did for a second yesterday.
Yes.
How lucky was it that yesterday was an off day for the Steelers?
Oh, they wouldn't have been able to practice at that time.
Correct. They could, because that came through my area right at 2:00 and really would have hit Latrobe probably not long after.
And it was dangerous. They said, don't go out on the roads. I mean,
we had a tornado warning.
Yeah.
I had the shelter in place at work.
Yeah.
And each building's got designated tornado shelter area. I had to go shelter in that area yesterday.
Yeah. And I don't know what they would have done with all the fans there. If it was where it came through, that would have been, it would have been a very, very dangerous situation for those there. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything that like there was debris on the field or anything. I mean, my yard is still covered in debris from everything that they had, that where it was necessarily that bad at St. Vincent's, but everywhere in that area had those same kind of warnings. So they wouldn't have been able to be out there practicing, but hey, it's a game week. Oh, you know what? I know we're going to talk Steelers, but I've got to tell you, remember, this is our family show. You and I mean, we shared a bedroom growing up and everything. This is where the brothers, we talk about how we would talk about the Steelers if we just got together. And we also reminisce about days past. And I tell you what, I had a pretty good reminiscing moment last week because I took my 12-year-old son, which happened to be the same age I was, with the same kind of experience, to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Nice.
And you can remember from our time, I had Ninja Turtle posters and everything else. So he was the same age that I was when the Ninja Turtle movies came out. You know, the cartoons were out before that, which I had watched. But you'll appreciate this. It was even more of a throwback for me when within the movie, they had songs by both De La Soul and A Tribe Called Quest in the new Ninja Turtle movie. Yep. So it was like, yeah, that was real. I was really throwing back and thinking about Big Bro while I was there experiencing those.
When we were talking De La Soul and Tribe Called Quest, were we going back in the day songs to those groups?
Oh no, it was I Know from 3 Feet High and Rising for De La Soul, which features the great Otis Redding, and then it was actually the end credit song. It was the album version, the good version of From People's Instinctive Travels. Nope, it was Can I Kick It?
Can I Kick It? Gotcha.
Yes. So I really enjoyed the movie. I'll say the first 2/3 of it was great. The last third of it was not as good as the first 2/3, but it wasn't bad. You know, it was, sometimes you're like, oh, this is so great. We'll carry the whole way through. But yeah, people were talking about going to see other movies, and I go to see Ninja Turtles. But it was a good family moment, and it made me think of you. But also,
time to go to the movies. What's that?
Family time is also this. You're going to have some good family time tomorrow with your son, Kyle.
That's right.
Because
up in the morning, headed to Latrobe.
There you are. You're at Latrobe. Do you think they'll be in pads?
Yes.
I think there's a good chance they'll be in pads
tomorrow. Well, let's see. Tomorrow's practice, and let's see.
Because there's no practice open to the public on Thursday.
They'll
probably have more of a walkthrough before they travel.
Correct. So that'll just be shells. I expect tomorrow to be pads.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let's just say this. You had an off day Monday. You have the game coming up. I don't think you're going to be going there. I don't think they're going to be giving guys a bunch of days off. I think that they have Thursday for that. So, I know when KT Smith was there, it might have been, there was a lot of TJ and Cam and Isaac Sayamalu and Patrick Peterson and a bunch of those guys not practicing. I think tomorrow might be one. I don't know that it'll be as intense as today's practice, because today's practice, they were really doing a lot of tackling. So, but AJC says that he did hear someone say, I don't know who said it, that it was the last day in pads till the game, which are they not allowed to be in pads within a certain distance of the game? That would be the only thing, because the way Coach Tomlin talked about stuff, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case or not. Either way, it should be some a good practice to go see, because of tuning up and everything else for the game on Friday.
Yep.
Yeah. So you'll be there.
I'll be there, and I'm hopefully. Last year I tried to get Kyle. Kyle's got his white whale of autographs that he is after. Okay, there's only one autograph he wanted last year.
I know who it is.
And there's only one autograph that I think he's really wanting to try to get this year. And who would that be, Dave?
It's that tribe connection, isn't it?
It is.
But for that William and Mary tribe of Coach Mike T.
He would like to get Coach Mike Tomlin to sign his William and Mary hat. Now, last year I couldn't get him to do it. This year, he's a little braver kid at times. I think I might be able to get him talked into. I got some ways where he could potentially get Mike Tomlin's attention and get an autograph.
There you go.
So we'll see.
All right. So go for it, right? You got to go for it. What time do you think you'll be getting up there?
I don't know. We're leaving down here at 9. That'll put us up there. We'll be in line about 10:30. They open the parking lot and the gates at 11. So
okay. So you'll be up there to do everything you can for as long as you can. The weather's supposed to be pretty good tomorrow too, isn't it?
Yeah, good weather day tomorrow. Partly cloudy, high around 80.
Yeah, that's
a little bit of breeze. Should be a nice day.
That's a good weather. And you won't be wearing the black Scho Bro Show. You're going to be wearing.
Yeah, I'm going with Kyle and I both with the Dave Gold Steel Curtain Network shirt. So that Kyle and I will both be donning the Steel Curtain Network.
Yep. So in case you're interested in looking at any of our attire, I put the website down there.
Steelers Pittsburgh says Coach T will pay Kyle.
We'll have to see about that. So we're talking about camp that's to come. Obviously, we're going to talk about the game that's to come. But kind of what we're talking about tonight, for those of you that might be newer to the show, meaning you found us in the off season, perhaps, and you're not sure how things work in the regular season, there might be a few of you out there. For a lot of you, you kind of know how we roll. And we're the Tuesday night show. Typically, we're the
transition show.
Yeah, we're the transition show. It's because when games are played at 1 p.m. on Sundays, like God intended football to be played, then we're the perfect time to transition from what happened to what's coming, because that's kind of how our coverage works throughout the week. You spend some time looking back and some time looking forward. I mean, I do that a little bit on Stat Geek as well, but most of my looking back is to compile numbers that's really about looking forward. So let's look back. We're going to kind of start that day, and let's look back because today was day 14, not of practice. We're not talking about. I can't find it.
you always get ready to say it, and then you're like, "Oh wait, I should have it up ready."
I know I'm ready. Well, because I like to see the live chat. I'm ready to hit. Yeah, that's always where my go-to one. But really, we're
practice.
Yeah, we're talking about practice. It's not practice for 14 days. I think today might have been practice 11 when you talk about it, because they didn't have the first day and they didn't have the 2 Mondays. And so I'm pretty sure that's it. Practice 11 out of in 14 days, because they arrived on the Wednesday, the 26th. So 2 weeks of being in Latrobe. How much has our view and expectations of what we're going to see Friday night changed in the last 14 days? If you think back to before the Steelers took the practice field and what we thought we were going to see and what we wanted to have in a preseason game, that's changed a good bit. I mean, a lot of it's still the same, but there's some much more different things that we probably didn't even imagine would be the case going into this. Would you agree with that?
Because I would kind of agree with that, because I hope you've got the button ready, because I think we can't say one of your other buttons that you got to hit on there.
I have a bunch of them. Is it the
Steelers are not? One thing we can't say.
I think I know what you're saying. We're not going to
push the button.
Play to win the game.
No,
it's not that one.
No,
okay.
We're talking about practice.
Yeah,
we're not talking about practice.
We're not. No, they're not who we thought they were.
Do I have that one?
If you don't,
here we do.
But they are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
I don't think they are who we thought they were going into camp. Things have changed. Things have changed for me, at least. Okay. Which is almost a little bit exciting. In terms of certain things where they aren't who we thought they were, but I'm interested to see in the game. I'm really wanting to see what this inside linebacking core is able to do now. I think we've got a nice mix of pieces, and would kind of interested to see how we're going to utilize them. I knew the Steelers were going to be good in the front seven on the pass rush. I think they're maybe even going to be better than I thought they were going to be. And that's what I'm hoping to start to see. If we're even better than I thought we were potentially going to be on the pass rush, I would not want to be an opposing quarterback facing the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, because I thought we were going to be pretty good.
Yeah, but you got to remember.
I think in training camp, there's the potential, Jeff's favorite word, Jefferson Bartholomew Hartman. The potential is that I think on the pass rush, if the Steelers stay healthy, the pass rush could be elite this year.
Well, remember what Brian Brown said. He said they might be here the third they are, but don't let them off the hook.
Yeah,
but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yep, don't let them off the hook.
I had to play the whole thing.
Yep, I want to, I'm just really interested to see. I mean, I talk about the things I've seen in training camp that have me excited for what we potentially are going to see in these upcoming preseason games. The battles between George Pickens and Joey Porter Jr. I mean, those two guys have battled like you wouldn't believe in camp, and I love it.
Yep.
Now I want to, those two have all but literally beat up on each other. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now I'm interested to see them both go beat up on other guys.
Yeah, that, and you know what? That's what I really want to see, because and I want to get to that, the whole other guys thing, because we'll talk about that in a little bit. But if we go back 2 weeks right now, we did a show when we were talking about Camp Darlings. I said the right one, didn't I?
Yes.
It was Darlings, okay?
Yeah, you like to say phenom, but no,
yeah.
It's not, it's
two of my top three are done for the season. Think of how much that's changed. Things that we thought players that might be, that fans might fall in love with. You know who fans are falling in love with right now? The guy that they've despised for 2 years. But you put him off the line of scrimmage, occasionally hand him the ball, or throw it to a pass, or just let him lead block, and all of a sudden, Steelers Nation's in love with Kendrick Green. When all we heard over and over and over again is about how terrible he was, they had no business being around him. Now, all of a sudden, because he's being used in a different way, fans are in love with him. Who would have thought that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm in love with him, but I will say this.
It's fun.
He went from basically, for me, being forgotten in training camp to suddenly becoming relevant.
Yeah.
Relevant. Why?
Yeah.
Because of position flexibility.
Yeah.
We know Coach Tomlin loves position flexibility. The more things you can do, the more valuable Coach Tomlin thinks you are as a football player.
Yeah, and see, in my 53-man roster predictions, the last two that I've done, I felt that it was a 3-man battle for the last spot between Kendrick on the offensive line, for Kendrick Green, Spencer Anderson, and LaRaven Clark. That was just kind of the idea that I had in my head. The last two I've had Kendrick Green, because I'm like, I think he does. The biggest thing that he has is he was a backup at guard last year. He had played center before. J.C. Hassenauer is no longer with the team. So is he the backup center? Things of that. Then you get Herbig taking some snaps today, and that's fine too, and that's good to know. But to me, I was having Kendrick Green as possibly being the last offensive lineman to make the team, which would once again have him not getting a helmet. But if there's a potential of putting him out there on the field as a fullback, well, first of all, you don't change his number. You keep him the same number, so that way you still have your 8 offensive linemen that you could have. But he could get the helmet based on the potential of being on the field for a few other plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So to me, it kind of makes it intriguing. And could this just be, some people are saying, is the whole Kendrick Green thing just kind of putting something out there to distract from something else? Yeah, it could be.
Well, sure, it could be.
Yeah. So, but I mean, Coach Tomlin even addressed it today in his very brief comments. My goodness, I'm pretty sure I saw a report of one play where it was Kendrick Green at fullback and Connor Hayward at tailback, but one of them stumbled and it ended up going for no gain or something like that. So I'm just like, wow, that's interesting. Just kind of something different to look at. But to me,
we would call that the ultra jumbo package.
Yeah, the ultra jumbo package. You put it out there, put Gentry and Washington as your tight ends, and Miles Boykin as your receiver. And basically, that's as jumbo.
Basically, in that setup, the Steelers say, "We've got more beef than you. Stop us."
Yeah, and it's funny because here, Steeler Chick 46. There, I got it. Said distract from Broderick Jones. Maybe it's real interesting because sometimes you see people. Like I say, I'm still on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. That's where I get news. I don't use it to interact. I don't use it for other stuff. I use it to get news. I need to get better at actually tweeting or Xing or whatever it is now. But for the most part, I don't even. Hey, I have a set.
You know what we need to do?
People
now?
That what's up?
If we're going to go onto this, instead of getting the little, the little birdie tweet thing, you know what we need? We need the Family Feud.
Oh, the Family Feud. Yeah, I was thinking of D-Generation X. Oh, yeah.
No, we need the Family Feud X.
Yeah, that would be a good one too. But there was, for some reason, I decided I was going to click on a tweet and just see what kind of things people had to say. It was a tweet about Alex Highsmith making a great move today, to where I think he long-armed Dan Moore Jr. And I'm like, Highsmith is coming on and he's just been sounding like he's doing great. He's one I'm excited to see go against somebody else. But of course, people in the comments of this tweet or, responding to it are like, oh, wow, if only we had a first-round draft pick to be able to handle something like this, blah, 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 blah. And of course, and that's why I try to stay away from this, because you can't look at one Steeler success without looking at something else being a failure right now. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, hey, people don't realize how good of a player Alex Highsmith is. And if Dan Moore Jr., can't win every matchup against him, I'm not surprised, because that's just the way it is. But what people didn't realize later is the same kind of thing happened with Broderick Jones, and it was the last guy on the depth chart at outside linebacker. So I'm like, you're complaining about Dan Moore Jr. getting beat, but your first-round draft pick right now is getting beat by the last guy on the depth chart. I think they're not having the best of the best going up against their very raw and inexperienced first-round draft pick, because they're trying to control that environment. And maybe if there weren't other stories going on with the Steelers, that would be a story. We've got Pickens and Porter. We've got Kendrick Green in the backfield. We've got other things. But things people aren't talking about is any kind of disappointment in Broderick Jones. I mean, maybe there are some, but not at the same. And we're not getting the crucifixion of Matt Canada.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to bring up a quick little point. There's also been a lot of talk that what's kind of been quiet for the Steelers in camp has been things on the quarterback front, right?
That too, yeah. I said that last Thursday.
I don't understand why necessarily things are so quiet on the quarterback front, because we've seen plenty of great things from the receivers, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't somebody throw the ball?
Someone's got to throw the ball to him.
When George Pickens is up against JPJ and, makes this great catch, what are we all hear in our head? Oh, come on. I gave you time to set it up and everything.
Live chat.
Gave you time. I set it up and everything. Wow, you were just off your game tonight.
Because it's really...
Pick that Pickens! Pick that Pickens! Pick that Pickens!
I mean, so it's kind of funny what's kind of picked up and been the stories and the narratives, and other things are quiet. And at times people are like, well, this is quiet, but that's where it's like, all these great plays that you're seeing, somebody's throwing the ball. We're just not focusing on the quarterback. And to me, I'm wondering if part of that is because There's no question there.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's going to be throwing the ball is not up in the air like it was last year in camp.
Yeah, and I really like that. I mean, the depth chart comes out, and you're talking about all these other things, but it comes out Sunday night. I did a breaking news podcast, if you hadn't checked that out, to go through it. And what's the afterthought? Quarterback. There's really no question about what's going on there. And I want to bring up something. Afton had a really good comment earlier, and then Sherry Richards on the Facebook side, because the YouTube comments can't see the Facebook comments, but we can see them both. But Sherry Richards had a very similar comment, and Sherry's is here, so I just wanted to shout out to Afton that she had it in there as well, very similar. It says, I'm thinking Jones needs a lot of work and was drafted on raw talent, but he will be fine with coaching. We have Dan Moore, so there's no rush. That's, that's fantastic. Convince Steelers Nation of that. That's my biggest concern. I have a feeling that we're going to hear complaints about everything with Broderick Jones towards the end of the preseason, once the season gets going, just because of these crazy expectations that too many have. I've been trying to calm these expectations for a long time. I have no expectations for Broderick Jones to even play this year. But if he does, it should be because he's doing well, and then I'm just going to be happier than I would have been otherwise. So, sorry, I just throwing that out.
Well, here's the other thing that's fun and interesting, and I think this is a whole Coach Tomlin's strategy on things. Once we get to the regular season, do you know what we really stop talking about?
I know exactly what we stopped talking about. What we really stopped talking about is
practice.
That's right. We stopped talking about practice.
Because instead, everything we need is
you play to win the game.
Right.
That's what we talk about.
Focused on games week to week that we then forget about practice. So what the Steelers, this is just me, kind of how I think things work and how I think, my perception on how Coach Tomlin looks at things. Okay. We're going to work, Broderick Jones is a raw talent. We're going to work on him. We're going to work on him in camp. Everybody's going to see him. Look, we don't care what people have to say about him. We're going to work on the things we need to work on. He's going to work in these preseason games. We're going to ask him to do certain things and work on certain things in these preseason games. Fans are potentially going to talk about it. They're going to bash on the guy. They're going to talk that he was a bust. We should have never traded up and picked him in the first round, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Then the Steelers hide him away for practice for about 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And then he gets thrown out on the field because somebody gets hurt or something, somebody gets dinged up or something, and we got to put him out on the field. And then it's just like, whoa, where is this guy? This isn't the guy we saw in the preseason. What, he's a lot better than we thought. You know what? The Steelers continued.
Got to let him marinate.
Okay. They continued to develop him.
Yeah.
We're just not talking about it because when we get to the regular season, we stop talking about practice.
Yeah. Well, here, a couple comments here really sum up some stuff. Steel Dog 88 says, the first sack Dan Moore gives up will be torches in Pittsburgh and pitchforks from the Steelers base. He's
Probably.
right. He's right. And that's exactly it. Because then Brian Brown also said, but we've talked about this a lot, he's a first-round pick the Steelers trade up for. Do we really think he's not starting? Troy Polamalu was a first-round pick that the Steelers traded up for. Didn't start a single game as a rookie. None.
Right.
Zero. Because there's different reasons to trade up for people. Troy, and to me, like I say, I'm not trying to say he's Troy Polamalu. It's not even the right side of the ball. And I've said this a lot, but I'll say it again. And that is when you see a player who is super athletic, yet raw and needs some refinement, and you can get them later than you can because they're not ready, that's a good place to be in for someone like the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially when you're returning both your starting tackles. So that's they're not every trade up for a first round draft pick is the same thing. Did they treat Devin Bush that way? Yes, they did. Did they treat Troy Polamalu that way? No, they did not. So everyone is different for how they're going to do it. So, yeah.
The Steelers are in much better shape when they can make that draft pick and not be forced
Yes.
to put that guy right in the lineup.
Yeah.
To not have to do like they did with Devin Bush. To not have to do like they basically had to do with Kendrick Green. You know, when they're not forced to put that rookie there, when that rookie's given the time, doesn't have to be a ton. I mean, look, it was game 5 before Kenny was starting last year. Okay. He had those few weeks to really get some more reps in practice, be on the field for games, understand exactly what that Sunday routine was turning into. Then they handed him the ball.
Yeah.
You know,
I will tell you this. I said it last year at this time when I would be concerned about Kenny Pickett not being what the Steelers thought they drafted was if we're still talking about him and if he's going to get playing time right now, 1 year later.
Yes.
And that's how I am with Broderick Jones. If we're not talking about Broderick Jones cracking the starting lineup at this time next year, then there is a problem.
There's concern.
I am not concerned about it now because I'm going to remind everyone of something. Okay. I'm sorry if I'm going to throw out a little bit of attitude here, but it's just one of those things that irk me. You know, Steelers fans love Kendrick Green right now. They do because of the fullback thing. But what did we hear about weeks ago? Oh my goodness. He's so terrible. He showed no development last year. Baloney. He didn't show you any development last year. You never saw him play a snap outside the preseason because he never even had a helmet. But he was in practice every day with the Steelers. They know his development. We don't. Maybe he developed. Maybe he didn't. I tell you, I haven't heard a lot of camp about him looking terrible, but I also haven't heard a lot of camp about him looking great. But I have heard a lot about him in camp playing fullback. So we just have to remember there is so much more than what we see. Training camp is glorious because we don't get, even if you're not there, you don't get reports like this during regular practices throughout the year. Training camp's it. When they break camp next week and they're just practicing, getting ready for their 3rd preseason game, guess what we're not going to have? All these reports of everything. We're not going to know what's going on every play of 7 shots and things of that nature, which I thought it was ironic today that as much as the defense have been constantly winning the drill, the most dominating performance came today in a 6-1 win by the offense. So that's just kind of how these things are. Rich, we got to take a break, don't we?
Take a break.
I'm running late. Got to take a break.
And right up there and take a break.
Because now we can talk about these things and what we want to see Friday night based on these things that have happened over the last 2 weeks. So if you're with us here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, we're just going to be a couple seconds. And if you're with us here on the audio side, we'll be back right after these messages. All right, Steelers fans, we are back. We are rolling on. And Rich, let's talk about a game. Talking about a game, not practice. Well, it isn't. Well, it's a practice.
It is kind of practice.
It's a practice game. Okay, because the ultimate goal here isn't victory. You can be victorious and still fail with your preseason game. You could win the game and really not get what you needed out of it. Of course, number one thing, just throwing it out right now, being done with it. It's all about the injuries. You want to come out of this game as unscathed as possible when it comes to the injury front. That's why let's talk about this, Rich. What players do you think we will not see this week? I know you mentioned a little bit last night with Daniel J. We can just recap this pretty quick.
I say there are a few players that we may not see at all or see for a very few number of snaps.
Mm-hmm.
3 come to mind, and they're all on the defensive side of the football.
And are they all former All-Pros?
Probably, yeah. Because we're talking, of course, Cam, TJ, Minka.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Patrick Peterson just because he's new to the team. If he might see a series. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't.
Right.
I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't.
I won't be surprised if Minka goes out and plays 1 or 2 snaps.
Man, they had to sign another 60 today.
I won't be surprised if he plays none.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised if he plays none, but I won't be surprised if he goes out and sees a couple snaps. I won't be surprised if TJ goes out and sees a couple snaps. I doubt Cam sees a snap.
Why would we want to? Why would we even want to see Cam Hayward? I mean, I'll wear my Cam Hayward jersey, but I don't want to see him play in this game. You know, I want to see what Larry O, how he looks. But someone like Larry O, if you see him, we're going to see him a series. That's about it.
Yes, but I don't expect to see Cam at all. Again, you might see TJ for a couple snaps. That's only if that's something he has worked out ahead of time after a serious conversation with Coach T. And if Coach T were to buy into thinking, you know what, after coming off of things last year, he wants a couple snaps. Let me give him 2 snaps. But I won't be surprised if we don't see him at all either.
Yeah. I think you'll see Highsmith for a series, maybe 2. I think you're going to see all the inside linebackers.
Yes. I
think
most of
Cole
them.
Holcomb, you might not see a lot of just because he's still coming back and everything else. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah. But some of the others, I think you're going to see. I don't know if you say any of them with huge numbers. I expect to see them kind of just rotate and all have just, overall, a number of snaps, but not a ton of snaps to any one particular guy.
You're going to see players that are kind of done, but not completely done, because they'll be like, hey, you get to the end of the game, we're going to give the rest of the snaps. Let's say outside linebacker, we're going to give the rest of the snaps to the bottom 2 guys on the list. But you know what? If something happens or one of them gets dinged up, we got to at least have another one, someone who's already played and think that they're done, ready to go back in, something of that nature. Offensive side of the ball, maybe Sayamalo, but I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a series just because they want to do the starting offensive line with one Kenneth Shane Pickett. I don't want to see Kenny Pickett out there behind the second offensive line. I want to see him out there behind the real guys.
Behind the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all Steelers. They're all good guys. But But who he expects to be behind week 1.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if it's Herbig instead of Sayamalu, I'm not overly. That's not overly concerning, but it's funny. The more I think about it, I'm like, I haven't heard much out of the center position. Heard something about James Daniels pulling today on a play that he sealed something off. I haven't heard a lot from some of these guys, and maybe that's a good thing. But
I don't know. Some of the stuff we haven't heard a lot about is part of what I'm wanting to go get a peek at camp tomorrow. So I'll be interested to see exactly what the Steelers do in camp tomorrow, because of, like I said, kind of wanting to kind of see and look in on some of the stuff we haven't got a whole lot of reports on.
Yeah. Yep. So what else? So we talked about personnel and everything. What do you want to see overall from this game Friday night from the Steelers? You can go overall, you can go offense, you can go defense, not talking about specific people, but what kind of feel or things that you feel would be successful?
I want the Steelers to come out of this game. I want to have the feeling that the Steelers manhandled the Bucs in the trenches.
Okay.
That was a big thing last year. Last year, we were wanting to see it because we had so many unknowns. I want to see it this year just because I want to see the Steelers start to establish dominance on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football early. So why not? And by early, I mean, let's kick it right off from preseason game 1. We are dominating the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. That's what I'd like to see, because I think it sends a message.
Yep. And here are things I want to see. I want to see. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to really put this out there. I want a touchdown on the opening possession. I want a touchdown on the opening possession.
To me, touchdowns and everything, those are that's icing.
You know why? I want to see the Steelers come out, touchdown opening possession. Okay, that's all you're going to see of that particular unit.
That's what
some of the things.
The reason I'd like to see it is because I'd really like to see the Steelers just come out, dominate the line of scrimmage, be able to run the football, have plenty of time to throw the football, and just work their way down the field and score. Yes, that's that kind of dominance that I say.
Yeah.
Come out and establish.
Because the line is dominating, you can maintain the drive and get down there. Honestly, I'd even say possess the ball for 5 minutes, even if it's not a touchdown, but you hold the ball for that long. I'm okay. You can't come out and with your very first unit go 3 and out.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. And I'm not even expecting the defense to force a 3 and out, but I am expecting a punt. The takeaway would be nice, but that's okay. That's really, really, you can get so much of what you're going to get for the regular season by just watching the first quarter. Okay. There you go. Blue nose steelhead throwing the ball to the middle of the field would be nice to see. Yeah.
I get what he's saying there because the last year the Steelers just did not utilize the middle of the field. It'd be nice to see them come out and establish that early. So really, I know he's saying that, and he's saying it for the same reason I think I'm saying. I want to see the line dominate. I want to see those things early. Just establish it early.
Got to tell you a story. It's that next gen stats chart of all the passes, and it's U-shaped, right? Where the deep shots are down the sideline and everything in the middle is all short. And it's that U-shaped picture that you don't want to see. I was guesting on a show for the Philadelphia Eagles last year before the Steelers took on Philadelphia. And they asked me and I actually made reference to that. Because they asked about Kenny Pickett, what do you want to see? I'm like, I'm really tired of seeing that U-shaped thing. He said, he's like, you don't even know because it's NFC. He's like, that was the problem with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2021. That Jalen Hurts passing next-gen chart was U-shaped. They weren't taking any deep shots in the middle. And you know what happened? They said now it's a different story. And now that when the Eagles were having success last year, they were like, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing last year because it built to this. So that's what I want to see. I want to see that same build because I saw it, I heard it from another fan base whose team just went to the Super Bowl. So that's what I want to see from the Steelers to say, hey, that was for a reason. Now we have our quarterback ready to do even more. That's what I would like to see. So overall, I would say I want to see the Steelers. I mean, I don't have any crazy expectations of I don't want to see him punt. I don't want to see him turn the ball over. I don't want to see penalties. You don't want to see those things, but it's the first preseason game and you're going to see them. You really are. So my biggest thing is you hit the nail on the head. If you can dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, then that's the biggest thing you could probably take away from this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just look at that as that's just imposing your will on another team.
Yeah.
And that's what I like to see.
Yeah. This is interesting. Sheriff Richards, go bring her up again, says, I want to see unpredictable play calling. I like that she used the correct word there. Unpredictable. I don't want to see creativity. It's the preseason. I don't want to see that, those kind of things outside the box plays and stuff. But it's the unpredictable.
As Kyle would say, we don't need to see double R, double P.
Yeah. But no, you know what? I don't mind seeing double R, double P if it's not just okay. Najee Harris, crashing into the crowd in the middle. Najee Harris crashing into the crowd in the middle. Steelers, throwing it to 2 yards on throwing a wide receiver screen on 3rd and 8. There's a difference. But I'm fine with, wait a second. Oh, that was that was an inside handoff to Connor Hayward in motion coming, almost like a jet sweep, but cutting it up in the middle. Something like that. There was even a report practice today that Pat Freiermuth was handed off on a jet sweep. So it's interesting. It's not even as much the formula. It's what you can do inside those things. If you don't come out with a personnel package that it's so obvious that you're going to run the ball and you're going to run it right there, and then you run the ball right there. Bring out the big package and throw a little twist and hit your tight end on something, things like that. So, yeah, I like that one. I like that one. Not that you have to show all these crazy formations or things like that. Show things that the Steelers haven't done before. My biggest thing is do something that the Steelers have been doing, and you don't know what the play is going to be when they come to the line. So,
sorry, I'm falling asleep.
Are you really?
No, not really.
No, not really. Anything else you really want to see?
No, I mean, it's the first preseason game.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm the kind of person that tends to keep things simple and build as you go. So I don't want to too much that I'm looking for in the first preseason game. First preseason game then is what I'm going to build off of to say, okay, after seeing this in the first preseason game, here are the things I'd like to see, like going into the second preseason game, adjustments made off of things we saw in the first.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd let you know this.
Why do I have to be Chewbacca?
Now wait a minute. That's hilarious that you say that, because who used to always say that? Because when we were growing up as kids, who was always Chewbacca?
I don't know.
Oh, it was always our younger sister. Freddie was always Chewbacca.
Oh,
and she always said, "Why do I have to be Chewbacca?"
He's my favorite. No, I just say, why do I have to be Chewbacca? It's for that reason. Actually, that's my favorite Star Wars character, so I'm not going to complain. Sorry, that's just a joke from a few weeks ago. Rich, are you ready to do what we do to close this out, or is there anything else you want to say about this game? I will tell you this: don't tune out, Steelers fans. Don't tune out. I am looking forward to the fourth quarter. I am looking forward to seeing some of these guys that are out there fighting to say, hey, I want to be relevant when it comes to the talk of who's going to make this roster. So I will watch it from snap one till the very last one.
Yeah, because we've already started talking about Camp Darlings. Camp Darlings don't typically come to the forefront until we get into preseason games.
Exactly.
So,
and then all of a sudden you get some guy that you didn't even realize was on the Steelers roster, which, hey, if you need to know guys that are on the Steelers roster, make sure you check out SteelCurtainNetwork.com. I will have the article that evening before the game to give you a rundown of the whole roster with their numbers. So that way you can say, who was that guy? And there it is. Whose number, I don't want to say a number and then I sound like a fool. I think you know who number 90 is. You might not need it for that one. So make sure you check that out.
Well, if we're going to talk about what you're writing, hey, I got stuff coming up too, because, I'm going to actually be writing a knee-jerk reaction from camp tomorrow. Yeah. Just kind of my thoughts as I'm seeing things there live. Also be having a knee-jerk reaction article for the preseason game. Those always tend to be a little bit fun because the further we get into the game and the further we get down the depth chart, sometimes I have a little bit more trouble figuring out who's who on certain plays. But you know what? It's fun anyway.
Yeah, it really is. How long has it been since we saw the Steelers on the field? We saw them. You were there. You were there the last time they were on the field. How long ago does that feel?
Quite a while.
Because it was. That's why. So, all right. Here we go. Why do I keep bringing up Sherry all the time? But you know what? She's saying that. Do we get a post-game show Friday night? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We'll let you know exactly the rundown of what's going to happen with the homie show, because obviously that's not going to go at the time it normally does. They might be bumped to a different to maybe even to Saturday or something. I'm not sure what Brian has worked out with that, but we'll have that information for you. I was hoping I would have had it tonight, but that was not passed along to me yet. So we'll see what that is. But there is going to be a post game show.
I'll tell you, my Friday doesn't get any better. So Friday this week is consisting of playing in a golf tournament, then watching the Steelers play, and doing a knee-jerk reaction article to the Steelers being on the field, and then turn around with the post-game show. Like, to me, that it doesn't get much better. I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, and what's not look forward to, because they're in helmets and pads and go up against somebody else. You don't have to worry about every time Alex Highsmith beats Dan Moore that, oh no, it made Dan Moore look bad, or every time Dan Moore blocks Alex Highsmith, oh no, Highsmith whoa, what's he doing? Yeah, they'll be going against somebody else, and that's what I'm looking forward to. That's right. All right, Rich, it's tradition. I know it's preseason, but still, I'm just excited that we can do it again. Our big question that we do throughout the regular season is, give me your score prediction. Now, for those of you that don't remember in the live chat, don't jump the gun. Wait till I put it in the live chat, because we'll give ours. Well, you'll give yours. I think I have to give mine Thursday. You'll give yours, and then we'll put it out there for you all to chime in. So, Rich, what's your score prediction for this meaningless preseason game that means a lot, but the score doesn't mean as much?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you get your wish and the Steelers get that touchdown on the first offensive possession. And they ride that all the way to a 20-13 victory.
20-13.
Yes.
Hey, before we do, I want to say this. Kathy wants to know if the game's on TV. It's not on national TV. It will be replayed on NFL Network, but
it's on TV at my house,
unless you're in the Pittsburgh or Tampa area. But the other thing is it is available on NFL Plus. You can get a free 7-day trial. You can watch it live, stream it live there, or you could just get it for a month and it's $10. I'm like, $10 for 3 preseason games of the Steelers. That's the route I'm probably gonna have to do, because I haven't got my free NFL Plus from the Steelers yet, for being a season ticket holder. So I'm probably just gonna $10 I can do that. So all right, so that's Rich's score. I just put it in the live chat. It should be there any second. And so you can always catch it on a replay. Listen to it on the radio on SNR is one of those things that you can do.
Well, if I got to go on the radio, I just love it on my Sirius XM, because then I get Hillgrove and Wolfley.
Yeah, and I do want to remind people, if you type Steelers, that's fine. If you just put a score, we're going to assume that you mean Steelers. Let's see if anyone thinks Tampa's going to win this game. All right, here we go. Steelers Pittsburgh says 20-10 Steelers. What was yours, Rich?
Yeah, I said 20-13.
20-13. That's what I thought. Just making sure it wasn't the same thing. Okay. Mr. Woodside goes 19-16 Steelers. Sorry, Steelers 19-16. Gabriel Golden's going 21-21. Going with the big old tie. Steel Dog 88, 23-13 Steelers. Brian Brown, 42-0 Steelers. Remember, this is Baker Mayfield after all. Gene Smith says 21-14 Steelers. Afton Ford, Sorry, Afton, I know your name. I just didn't say it right. Afton Ford says 21-14 Steelers. Whoa. Gavin Anthony says 24-20 Steelers. Of course we don't know. Gavin, no, it's preseason. We don't know. State of the Steelers, Daniel J. says 23-9 Steelers. Reginald Rivers has 23-16 Steelers. Okay, all right, here's Pittsburgh Toddy, 13-0. Thomas Riley says 17-17 tie, just because what else? What would be more frustrating to the Steelers fans in the preseason would probably be to tie more than it would be to lose. Richard Adamson says 18-9 Steelers. Steelers Chicks 46 says Steelers 13-7. I don't want a low scoring game. I'd like to see the Steelers be in the 20 points. I'd like to see them get to 23 or more. That's what I'd like to see. Blue Nose Steelhead says 28-17 Steelers. Carrie says 21-18 Steelers. Sherry Richards has 24-19 Steelers. Ruben Stone, 23-13. Good guys. Okay. Jeremiah Yoder, 20-0 Steelers. No.
Cool. You're supposed to say
now you're supposed
Steelers.
To score. Bridge Nasty says 17-0. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Bridge Nasty then put another one. I think they wanted to change it to 17-3. 17-3. AJC says 28-17. Aquatic Life, after a bunch of other words, says 23-12. Outside Steelers fan says good guys 31-19. I'd be really happy if the Steelers put up 31 points.
Yeah, so
that would be really nice.
Actually, if they did that, that would be a total domination on the offensive line.
Yes. Yep. I would. I mean, what would be nice is when we'll come back next week and talk about the Steelers' fifth running back, having a touchdown and 6 yards per carry.
Handing one off to Kendrick Green to run into
hey, you know what? I'll take him from anybody. So, Rich, I think that's pretty much
we love when a big man scores the touchdown.
Of course.
Because then you get a big man spike and a big man dance.
Yeah. I would love to see a Kendrick Green touchdown dance. That would be great.
Where'd that line come from?
What? A big man dance? Because my question is, how would that make you feel, Rich?
I feel good. I feel so good I dance.
Sorry.
I danced. That was John Madden on the movie The Replacement.
I've never watched it.
What?
No. I've seen parts of it. It didn't interest me. So I watch it. Yeah. Here you go. Here you go. Pittsburgh Toddy says,
there you go.
Kendrick Green throws a touchdown pass. Wait, didn't practice end with was it? I think it was. Was it Connor Hayward throwing it to Kendrick Green? Something like that. I mean, that was like, I'm trying to remember, like today or yesterday. No, yesterday we're off. No. So all my days are running together now. But there was a play like that ended practice. Maybe it was, I don't know whether, but I'm trying to load it up right now from the training camp tracker at steelcurtainnetwork.com, because I'm doing that every day. It's a practice open to the public. You can follow along there where I am updating stuff as fast as I can get it. And of course, right now it's not loading because I wanted to. But yeah, one of those things would be fun. But I wish I would have had, I should have checked on this beforehand to know for sure exactly what the schedule is going to be changing. But I will tell you this, you'll still get tomorrow night, Wednesday night, you're going to get the Pump Your Brakes. You're going to get, these are for the live shows. You're going to be getting Thursday night, the Steelers preview. Friday night, you'll be getting a post-game show, and we'll let you know what things are doing. Otherwise, other than that, you should be getting the same kind of lineup. Actually, tomorrow, you might be hearing from me again. Coach Tomlin's supposed to speak to the media like he would on a normal week before a game, but it's on Wednesday. He's actually, not on the field, coming out the field. It's more of his formal thing. So I should be having an audio-only podcast tomorrow afternoon, summing up what happened with Coach Tomlin's press conference. Whew, Rich, I think I might have hit everything.
That's allowed as long as he signs Kyle's hat.
As long as he signs Kyle's hat, go do your press conference and then go sign Kyle's hat. We'll be happy for that. So, man, I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm still missing it. Connor Hayward takes a jet sweep, but this time he throws instead of running it and finds Pat Freiermuth. That's what it was. It was Connor Hayward throwing it to Pat Freiermuth. That was the pass at the end of the practice. So, all right, Rich, what do you have to say to close out here tonight?
Lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. We got Steelers playing on Friday night, going to Latrobe tomorrow. I got just so much going on when it comes to the Steelers. It's fun times. It's exciting times. And really, between Friday night and tomorrow, I don't know which one I'm more excited about. I guess I'll take the first one, then I'll take the second one. But for both of them, I can't wait.
Can't wait.